Hello, welcome. It's Canvas, the Niger Delta Roundtable, where I discuss the future of this region, blessed humongously with hydrocarbon resources. Now, every week, we give some time to reflecting on topics relevant to the development of the Niger Delta and her people. This episode, no different. I'm here. And once again, we are focusing on how to take our region to a more promising future. This is sponsored by the operator of the NNPC Renaissance, the Total Energies Ajib joint venture, Renaissance Africa Energy Company Limited, headquartered in Port Harcourt. Thank you for joining. I'm Adidayo Elushakin. Our topic for this week, the world from above. Now, today we're zooming out, literally and figuratively, to examine the power of perspective. Aerial storytelling has changed the way we see the world, the way landscapes connect, how cities grow, how water shapes communities, and how climate pressures leave their marks on the land. From above, patterns emerge, stories that often go unnoticed on the ground. Coastlines tell their own histories. Real estate developments reveal the pace of change. Cultural spaces show their movement and rhythm. And the Niger Delta, with its complexity, becomes a living map of beauty, vulnerability, and transformation. In this episode, we explore how drone cinematography and visual storytelling helps us understand the region differently. See not just what is there, but what it means. Let's take that journey from the ground to the sky. Again, our topic today on Canvas is the world from above. And my guest is Kalada Briggs. Kalada Briggs is the lead creative of Perspective, an award-winning aerial photographer and cinematographer, a visual storyteller whose work captures the Niger Delta, Nigeria, and Africa from breathtaking new angles. He documents landscapes, culture, climate realities, and real estate. Also, large-scale development projects with a perspective many of us never get to see. The view from above. His lens doesn't just reveal beauty, it reveals patterns, problems, possibilities, and a quiet poetry of everyday life. Kalada Briggs, hi. Welcome to Canvas, the Niger Delta Roundtable. It's great to have you here.
Yeah, thank you. It's a pleasure.
We're talking for a few weeks now. You're a very busy man, as a lot of the guests we have on Canvas are, and I'm very grateful for that. And very recently, we've been focusing, maybe not so deliberately, but maybe also somewhat so, on a lot of Niger Delta young people who are doing incredible stuff. So understandably, they are busy. You are busy. So it's good to have you here.
Thank you.
I remember that in one of our recent conversations and trying to get you to record this episode, you were in some far-flung area in the northern part of the country. Now, I don't know if it's a secret mission you were on, but can you talk about what you were doing in the north before you were able to make time to be here?
Okay, I was doing a documentary on population. And there's a research going on that in the year 2050, Nigeria will be the third most populated country in the world. So it starts from China, so to start from India, China, and Nigeria for the US. So I was opportune to do a documentary with a foreign photographer. We were to travel around about 7 states. So we did the Niger Delta, we did Lagos, Kano, Sokoto, and Jigawa, and 2 other northern states. And basically we're trying to document the how the government can control the rise of the population coming in. Because from the health sector to the educational sector and all those other sectors. So basically, it took me to these places, then festivals too, because I was in Kebbi State, because I documented the Arugongu Festival. It's a very huge festival where you have like 100,000 people come fish from one popular river. So basically what the documentary exposed me to, it just showed me a different part of Nigeria, because Nigeria is a very big place.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Let's go back to the beginnings.
Mhm.
What sparked your interest in what I call drone photography, or what you might refer to as aerial photography and cinematography?
Okay, it all started when it was a journey. When I traveled, I like traveling, and my interest for traveling came from a long time ago. So I went on a trip, and I was on my way back to Port Harcourt. I was driving somewhere in the east. So I was trying to find my way back. I was using Google Maps, and I went online to Google how to come back. I can't remember what I Googled, but it was Port Harcourt was in the search, was part of the search I was trying to find. And when I Googled Port Harcourt, what I saw was not what it was. I saw like a different narrative. The oil, militancy, the whole, the gray areas of the Niger Delta. And when I saw that was not what I was seeing, because basically I see the world from a different perspective. And I wanted to change that. So that was what gave me that interest to change the narrative. So that was where it started.
Really?
Yes.
I mean, I'm thinking this was some years ago, obviously.
Yes, 2017.
Exactly. At the time, there was already a craze, a social media craze. I believe, Facebook was a big thing. Instagram was, I think, as well, I suppose.
Yes.
So people were started building, content on YouTube. YouTube was a big thing already.
Yes.
The Mr. Beast of this world and others started as far back as then.
Yes.
So why weren't you thinking of maybe just, I don't know, doing something to simply just entertain people? Why something quote unquote serious?
Okay, here is where I was born. I was schooled here, and I was raised here. So the interest of me to change the narrative was will I say, I had more of that than I had more of that creating content for these social media creatives, because basically part of the content I was creating, that was what they were using to make their videos. Because I was like, I was making the raw content for the social media creators. So I was basically creating ingredients for them. I wasn't like a camera. I'm always behind the camera. I'm a camera shy person. I hardly or I rarely find myself in front of the camera. So maybe that didn't come in my mind for me to start making videos and all that. I opened my YouTube channel. I wasn't really consistent. I do one video, I do two videos, and I wasn't consistent basically. So I had more interest in just making pictures, making short videos for maybe you want to make a soundtrack showing nice pictures of places. Basically, that was my like faceless YouTube, faceless content. Basically, that was what.
So I think it's more about your interest rather than a lack of consistency. Your interest simply lays somewhere else. I think that's my understanding of what you said. Now, how did perspective begin? Or, pardon me, how did perspective?
Yes, perspective.
How did perspective begin, and what is the vision behind it?
Okay, so the name perspective came from. I'll tell you the genesis of it. Let me just take you back. Sorry. So I had a close friend, and at some part of my life, I used to rear dogs. I'm a dog lover. I love pets. I love dogs in per se. So we were supposed to take pictures of pets because he was very good. He was one like guiding me on taking still pictures. So we're supposed to come up with the brand Petspective, pets in a different perspective, because he had a different way of showcasing, because he schooled in India, and he was one showing me how, because India like is a different world of taking pictures and all that. And he was one trying to put me through and all that. So, but he wasn't really serious about what the brand we're trying to set up. And then that's the period I started flying drones. That was the period I started taking pictures, going to locations and all that. And I put two and two together. I was like, okay, pick pets. No, since I'm doing it by myself, pics. So I said, okay, pictures in different perspective. Because seeing the pictures is not the actual perspective every other person is seeing it. So the perspective, pictures in different perspective. So that's how it came about. And basically what I was doing, what I saw more transformation of what I was capturing. I started capturing places where you have climate erosion, where you saw there's this place was higher, now this place is lower. This water was high, or this water was low. Now this water now is higher. You understand? So basically, what I was now capturing, what I was doing more was documenting the transformation of places of the environment. And I knew that I could not do it by myself. So that's where the that's where the brand came about. Now capturing the transformation of places where I go to capture. That's how it came about.
What stories, let's use Niger Delta as an example.
Okay.
What stories does the Niger Delta tell from above that the rest of us don't ordinarily see from the ground?
You have stories from the creeks. We have a whole lot of greens here. I've been opportune to be in places like recently, Jigawa. Place is very hot. They don't have trees there. Place is very hot because it's just the sun directly. Here we have so many trees. We're blessed with vegetation. So from above, I see greens. I see the blessed lands. Like everything is just, everything is just perfect. So what I see I understand that we have our gray areas. It's not something I can express here, but what I see more is greens, vegetation, blessed with rich soil and vegetation.
What other stories are there? Like they say you can't express it, like what?
Oil pollution. You have polluted places where oil spills and all that. So basically, places I've seen where the oil is either has been spilled or other where they have the wellheads. I don't know the terms, but you have lands where the oil kill most of the waterways and most people can't fish and all that. It's changing. It's kind of different now because most of these companies are now planting mangroves. They are now doing certain things to help reduce the oil spill and pollute the land to reduce it.
In all the work that you've been doing, which locations or projects have moved you the most emotionally?
The high prep project. I was opportune to work with the company that took me there. So before, you have most farmers, they cannot fish anymore because the oil has polluted the shallow waters. And what they have, the boats they have, cannot take them high sea. So most of what this company does, they do processes to help to remove the oil. It's a large federal government project. So they do most of these projects to remove to cleanse the water, mangroves. They're planting mangroves and all that. So one of the projects I saw periwinkles. People are now coming back. They're now farming. So I have loads of pictures that you see farmers coming back. You understand? They have a lot of. So that was what really caught my attention. There was one of these scenes, even on my TikTok channel, where I saw that was the first time I had clams. I saw a boat while we were on the water. I saw a boat where they were cooking. They were making in my place they call it I can't remember the terms, but it was native soup. They were cooking. They had periwinkles and all that on the boat.
On the waterway?
On the water, yes. We stopped. We flagged them down. They stopped, and the guy gave me clams, and I ate the clams. It was really nice, fresh, and it was still the same place that was polluted from years back by oil and all that. So it's kind of getting better now.
I have to ask you this before I go into my next set of questions. So you focus on aerial photography
Yes.
and cinematography. Is that correct?
Yes.
Is that really a thing? And what I mean is this: you find maybe not almost all, but you find a lot of videographers and cinematographers right now, or even just people that cover events.
Okay.
It's almost unthinkable now to be an event coverage person and not have a drone.
Okay.
So, is it a thing? Is there a specialty to that, being what you refer to as an aerial photographer or cinematographer? Or is it just anyone who covers events having a drone and that's all it takes?
Okay, for me, it's the context. I have my goal is documenting transformation of the Niger Delta and Nigeria. So I have a context in mind, and I'm documenting transformation from climate to environmental change. So basically, what I'm doing, I'm not just doing it because I'm the event person like you're trying to pair me up with. I have...
No, I'm not pairing you up, just making comparisons, that's all.
Because basically what I'm doing is I am documenting transformation in my environment. And right now I'm in the Niger Delta. So because I'm a Niger Deltan. So it's different because I have a context of documenting the transformation from climate to environmental changes to the whole spiel. Because of course, most of these companies are doing a good job. Some of them are not, some of them are doing a good job. So basically what I'm doing is I'm documenting the transformation.
Yeah. But from what you said, even in the course of this conversation, and some of which you said before we started recording as well, you're documenting the transformation not just in Niger Delta. I mean, you described a project in the north about population. I believe there's a lot of transformation in that regard as well.
Yes. I even went up to Benin Republic. There's a place they call the Venice of Africa, where they have over 40,000 people living on water. If you know, there's a particular place in recent news came out where they were demolishing the place. It's a Makoko. I don't know if I got the word right. Makoko.
That's in Lagos.
In Lagos, yes. So it's a fishing settlement that migrated from Benin Republic down there. So that's how I went down to that place and I realized that it's a whole different world there. You have over 40,000 people living there. So that gave me like a different perspective to what I'm doing. Seeing that people live on water and they carry on their everyday life. Kids get on the boats and they paddle to their classes. Market women, they sell on the boat. Where you have maybe people selling, I don't know how they call it is a French word, but something like a car. They sell it on the boats and they'll be crying, they'll be shouting. They come out as early as... I was there for 2 days. 3 days, actually. The hotel I stayed in was on water. It was a local hotel because I had to stay to take early morning because I was taking time-lapse and early morning shots, basically. So
climate change is a much discussed global phenomenon. And in certain areas, it's extremely controversial. While the science favors the existence of climate change, there are those who deny its existence. Taking these drone shots, your aerial photography, your aerial cinematography, how has it shaped your understanding and your perspective of climate change?
Okay, so there's a picture, take you back. There's a picture I took in Audley Road. It's a place in Port Harcourt, Audley Road. And the picture was really nice. Sky was red and was lovely. Nice place. Green, sorry, it was at the evening. It's an evening picture. Red sky, water, was close to the LNG, the company LNG. And I never knew that picture was not as nice as it looks. It just showed that our air quality was poor, basically. So part of what I capture is like we're living in an environment where our quality of the air is actually poor. So basically, that's part of climate change that I was documenting.
Now you talk about transformation. Now, transformation, while may seem a positive term, may not always connote something positive, I suspect. And climate change in itself is a terrible thing. Climate change doesn't connote anything positive. Exactly. So what transformations have you observed, maybe over time, as a result of your work that has helped give you an improved understanding, if you will, of climate change?
You're asking the transformation of climate change?
More or less, yes. Or the transformative effects of climate change.
Most of the problem we have in the oil and gas region is gas flaring. And I'll say that's like basically what affects our air quality. And it's something that in some areas has changed. Basically, will I say because of maybe new systems or new policies that has been in place. So documenting or capturing this change, certain places I see that flaring does not occur in these areas. So that's for my own aspect of documenting. I see that, certain areas, this place where they were flaring here, and this flaring was causing the bad air quality, was causing certain things. Because how I see where the air quality is poor is when you have red skies. If you get to the evening and the sky is red, it indicates that your air quality is really poor. So part of my documenting is, so certain places, they don't flare these gases anymore. So that's basically for my own answering your question.
Yeah, sure. What cultural moments or traditions have you captured that stayed with you, that really spoke to you?
One, I'll say the Bole Festival. I had over 20,000 people came there, and I've been documenting that for 5 or 6 years now. Bole Festival, the cultural. Then a festival I'm from Abunima, Akukutoro is local government here in the south. There's a festival, they have people come on the water, play masquerades and all that. I've documented that festival before. So the one that really caught my lens was the Bole Festival. It's a food festival down here in the south where people come to celebrate common food, plantain and fish. Basically, that's one has really caught my lens.
What was it about it? Because we had Nonso here, I call him the creator or the originator of Bole Festival. He was on an episode of Canvas. And by the way, if you're watching or listening to this right now, you didn't hear that, or you haven't seen that, go to our YouTube page, you can watch that episode. So what is it about the Bole Festival that really struck you when you covered it?
It's the people. People. Because fast forward to the documentary I did some days back about population, right? Where the story gets to me is when I see a mass of something or subject or elements. And I had a lot of people in that one gathering to celebrate or to experience that food festival, as in fish and plantain. So what got to me was the number of people that attended that festival. Because I'm viewing from a different perspective. Because you have a whole lot of people in one settlement, and what people are here for is food, the bole, as in fish and plantain. So that was what gave me the interest. This is something that people come, and it's for 2 days.
And what's the significance of that large number of persons gathering in one place for that common interest? How significant is that?
It's not easy, or you need a lot to bring people out from their homes, right? To come spend hours in one gathering. For you to be able to achieve that, that means it's something So from my own lens, seeing a whole lot of people, because what I capture from my lens, I capture elements, I capture shapes, I capture moments, basically. It's most of my pictures are more, let's say, emotional than just art. So when I capture most of my pictures of this festival is different from every other picture you see.
It is Canvas and Niger Delta Roundtable, brought to you by Radiations. Kalada Briggs is my guest, lead creative perspective. We're discussing the world from above. We go for a break, we'll return shortly. The conversation will continue. Please stay with us.
In the heart of our journey, where the sun touches the earth and the wind whispers through the trees, a new chapter unfolds. A chapter where energy illuminates more than just bulbs. It lights up minds. A chapter of unity, a coming together with a common goal to energize futures and illuminating lives. In classrooms, young dreams evolve, inspired by the promise of a brighter tomorrow fueled by available energy. Small businesses flourish, becoming seeds of prosperity. Energy that empowers and is catalyst for growth and change. The future is energy. So, let's light up the path to a sustainable future together. Energy for you, me, and the world at large. Energy for people and planet. We are Renaissance.
Hello, welcome back. Still Canvas, the Niger Delta Roundtable, brought to you by Renaissance. I'm Dio. My guest, Kalada Briggs, is still here. Lead creative, perspective. Kalada, you're welcome again.
Thank you.
We're discussing some remarkable, and like I said earlier, it seems everybody has a drone these days. I mean, they're still pricey, but you can get some really cheap ones off the market, I suppose. And sometimes they're everywhere. It's too much for that matter. Let me give you an example. I was at a conference, an international oil and gas conference in Lagos recently. And for some bizarre reason, one of the people tasked, I guess, with covering the event, during a panel session, had a drone in the hall. And, you had that buzzing sound, and it was so annoying. And eventually, I think the person sort of looks that top executives of different oil companies were given, and maybe some persons may have complained verbally, and then the drone went off or shut down. So it takes us back to a question I asked in the first half of this conversation. Now, you explained how you see it. For you, there's context. But generally speaking, should it apply to everyone else? Or do you think are you concerned about how aerial photography or cinematography or the use of drones for that is being used these days? Or is that a normal thing?
For my own understanding, it's not a normal thing. But we're in the world of evolution. We're evolving. So in the media space, right, every event person needs that area, that extra touch of clip. And that's where the drone comes in. So most people like to add that. It's not really necessary in some... I've been in an event where it's an indoor event and the client wanted the drone. So most persons, they use it to maybe show off, I'll say. They don't want to show off. It's not really necessary. For my own aspect of... Because I do tourism or I do real estate. So real estate's mass. I show mass in my content. So that's why it's like my major focus of what I do. So most of these creators, it's really not necessary. They just want to maybe add it to maybe like an extra edge to what they do, to their deliverables, basically.
So let's talk your technique and processes now. In capturing aerial imagery, using drones, of course. How do you determine things like, I don't know what terms you use, but things like altitude, angles, framing, in telling your story? Is there a technicality to that, or is just Carry and go smoke. Make, but just they go.
Okay, because I'll say I've been in this business for I'll say close to a decade now, and from my experience, I have what I use to make my pictures or my videos stand out is asymmetry, shapes, elements. There's certain things I use to make my viewers. I create emotions in my images, and I use these elements. The rule of thirds. It's something that has gone a long way in my experience. So every picture you see, if there's when I do my real estate capture, when I do my documentaries, it always stands out because all these elements I use this as my pointers to create my picture. So it's not like a one thing or it's something that every picture I always stick what I'm looking for, ruling leading lines, rule of thirds, and these are because most of my pictures I've found myself in exhibitions, in international and local exhibitions where they have to judge your pictures. So I've been in panels, I've been in sections where I go through stages to win certain awards or to win certain positions. So that has even shaped how I take or how I create my content. So that's basically it.
What's the biggest technical or other challenge you faced on a shoot?
Bird strike. Bird has attacked John before. What else again? I've been arrested. I've been detained.
What
once? Misunderstanding with the law enforcement. It was a team. Not just me. So I was a team of people. So we had like a misunderstanding with the law enforcement, and they detained us. They didn't know because we took. Because everywhere I go, I always make myself, because, the drone is something that you can use to like spy on people and all that. So everywhere I find myself in any work I do is I always make myself visible to any security establishment so that I don't have any issue with, what are you doing here and all that. So one of the jobs I went for, we met the police and we told them, they said, okay, fine, no problem, but we need to get like a pass from their headquarters and all that. So the team of persons I was working with said, okay, he will make that arrangement. Let's just go to the site. So when we went to the site, it was like far, somewhere close to Niger. It was close to the border. So it wasn't a nice experience. So we came the next day and the police thought we came shooting. They didn't know that we were waiting for that. So misunderstanding, and they detained us, put us behind the counter. Before calls came in.
You didn't go all the way down to your boxers?
No. They just took our phones from us. And I didn't remove my jewelries. I just gave them my phone.
Okay. Behind the counter, there are different levels of behind the counter.
We were. Will I say the person? I don't speak Hausa, but I could hear a little because they were arguing with the person I was working with. He was a fixer. We call it fixer. Someone that like makes the calls, takes us to locations and all that. So he was the one that made the arrangement, but he didn't do like proper arrangement because he thought it's something that he would just slide off, but it was like a serious thing. So he was the one speaking with them. And I saw him giving his phone to the policeman. And I was like, what's the problem? What's happening? So, but it was resolved. Then I've had issues where I slept outside. I went for an event and there was no accommodation. This was like 2018 or so. 2018 was the funeral and there was no accommodation. So I slept outside till the next morning. That was another experience I had.
Hold on. You didn't make any plans with the organizers, or they forgot about you in their planning?
They said they had accommodation. And it was a third-party thing where you have like an event planner. You're not talking to the...
event owner.
You're talking to an event planner. So the event planner is talking to the event person and you're talking to the event planner. So like third party. So those are one of the reasons why I just like to do like my own thing, the whole documentary thing, because this was when I was doing more events. I do more of like weddings, I do parties and all that. So I slept outside. It was not a nice experience.
I can imagine. This fixer thing you mentioned a while ago, can you elaborate on that? Who exactly is a fixer?
Okay, so for the documentary I did recently, like I said, we went to 7 different states. The Niger Delta, which was Rivers State as the head of it, Lagos, Kano, Jigawa, Sokoto, and Kebbi. So for every locations we go, we have fixers. And the fixers, they're the ones that pick us from the airport, make the calls to the locations we go to shoot. We go to medical centers, we go to schools, because we want to document. Because these are the areas where our government needs to put more emphasis on. Because if you don't, because of the rise in population, now you don't have your medical centers properly set up, or you don't have your school, your educational sectors properly set up, it's like you're going to breed like a different set of people. When I was in Kano, the kids were sitting on the floor. We have one teacher attending to 200 kids. So it was something else. And most of this, they don't go to school. It's a different topic in the other day. So it was something else. So the fixers, they're the ones that make the calls to these places we go to, medical centers and all that. So what I was doing was going to interface with them to like communicate, okay, we have this set, this shoot is set, this shoot. So for every state, we have fixers that takes us to these locations.
We'll come to this in the last phase of our conversation. I talked about developmental work, how your work helps to provide some kind of basis. Maybe you can even use the word research basis for developmental planning.
Yes.
In terms of proximity of infrastructure.
Yes.
And all of that. And however, earlier you said that your work is about creating emotions.
Yes.
But you said something to that effect.
Yes.
Before we started recording, earlier, you showed me some of your work. Some aerial shots you took in the Gambia of a fishing area. That
was Benin Republic, actually.
What, that was Benin Republic?
Yes.
Okay, you had lots of boats and they looked really beautiful. It looked really nice. I mean, we're having a conversation about certain areas I don't want to mention. That area, because I said some negative things about it, how it looked awful, it was smelly.
Okay.
I think that's when you described a place in the Gambia.
Okay.
A similar place in the Gambia,
yes.
But looks beautiful from your shot, from your lens. But in actual fact, is also even smelly and maybe even dirtier than the place I described to you. So, does your work tell realistic stories? Or does it tell the stories that we prefer? Does it capture reality?
Okay.
Or does it capture imagination?
Reality, actually. Reality. For every picture or for every scene, there are different perspectives to it. I'll use Rivers State for a case study. And looking at Rivers State, we have gray areas and we have like the good areas. So basically what I capture more of the good areas, which is like landscape. I capture lights, the whole set of the NEDC lights, basically. I don't project. I'll say there's everywhere you have gray areas. So for every picture, I tend to project the positive part of everything. So I'll use the example of the place we were talking about. I was capturing the nice part of that place, right? That, I don't want to call the name of the place. Is it fine if I call
in the Gambia?
No, here in Rivers State.
No, you can mention anything.
Okay, the Rokoto fishing port. Say it's the largest fishing port in West Africa. For my landscape, you could see the oceans, you could see the settlements, you could see the greens, you could see the area of the greens on one side. So basically, like I said, for my own lens, I tend to capture elements: blue sky, clear sky, greens, and the ocean. Then you have the settlement. Looking at the picture, it's wow, I want to come here. So when I capture these pictures, I tend to create emotions like, wow, where is this place? And capture the same scene or the same area where you go past every day and you'll be like, wow, is this place? I say, yes. someone else that hasn't seen that place will want to visit. That's basically what I tend to, the emotions I tend to create in every picture I take. Basically, I tend to lean it in tourism or lean it in investment, basically.
Let's talk about the developmental part of your work now. How crucial, how important is aerial cinematography, using drones and all that? How critical is it to infrastructure or real estate development or developmental planning generally?
Okay. I'll use myself as a case study. 2021 or 2022, the construction company, Julius Berger, when they came to start developing the flyovers, all the 12 flyovers, I was one that before then, I've been documenting this region just for fun. Basically, I was just archiving them. And my picture, part of what they did was they bought most of my pictures for the places that they built these flyovers, because they needed to see, transformation of what they want to do and how they want to place the flyovers and all that. Aside from the mapping and all that, my picture was part of what they did or part of what they used, because they actually bought my pictures, locations, the 12 locations. So, and I was documenting the process. And there's this services I offer as progress reportage. Basically, I document your project from start to finish. And I have like a virtual storage for you to have access anytime, any day. So basically, that project was one of my pioneer projects to what I do, because I documented the entire project progress. And that was one. Then the other one was the Greater Taft City. That's the one, the 20,000 housing units just by the airport road. My pictures, or our pictures, because I'll be coming from the brand, was what they used to do marketing. That's what they used to showcase and show the development of the project. Because basically, how do you show mass affordable housing units if it's not from a better perspective?
Now, these examples you've given are projects that are commenced already.
Yes.
Not necessarily from your input.
Okay.
But required your input at some phase of the project, maybe even from commencement. However, I'm talking planning or even pre-planning phase. How does what you do, for example, help in planning or even pre-planning infrastructure or development generally?
Okay, so I'll use same Greater Taft City, because that project was what affected the other project that is ongoing on the same route. You have the NAF Harmony, you have the Odibola, you have there are like 7 projects going on. And it was what they saw from the Greater Taft City that made them see that, wow, this is a nice place. This place has this kind of land. We can actually do this. Before interest started coming up, and they started seeing that, we can actually do the same thing, mirror the same project. So basically, that's what I'll say the same project that I was involved in, that was the same project that helped these other projects come up.
Now, it's one thing, on ground level, to be able to see something that wasn't there before suddenly spring up.
Okay.
Now, you have a perspective most people don't have.
Okay.
How does that feel? Being able to, from an aerial perspective, from your lens, see things that did not exist, start to evolve to completion. What's that feeling like? As against what you also experience with every other person, maybe passers-by or people who drive by or who walk by or even live in the vicinity, who see a project or who experience a project ongoing, they're affected directly or indirectly. As against you who sees it from that lens, from that aerial view. How does that feel for you? How different is it?
Can you rephrase?
Okay, now, so you've mentioned some of your projects. The flyovers in Port Harcourt, the real estate infrastructure going on along the airport road. You experience what most other people experience as a passerby. You drive by, you walk by. You see construction going on. You see the tippers, you see the lorries, you see the tractors, you see the earth-moving machines and all that. So most people see that. Some people who are living in those areas are directly impacted by the development.
Okay.
You, beyond seeing that or experiencing that, you now have another perspective most people don't have. which is the aerial one.
Okay.
Seeing the change happening from above. How different is that from what most other people experience by just seeing it on ground level?
It's something I can't explain. I'll say it's overwhelming because what I see beyond my dashboard, seeing what my screen shows me. I see, like I said, what I document more is elements. I tend to create emotions. I tend to have all these elements on one screen. So this is what shapes what I create. So most times it's overwhelming for me because
What are these elements you refer to when you use the word elements?
okay, so elements, greens, the sky, and a life form, which can be animals, it can be a human factor, because the human factor, it gives me a kind of scale. So if I'm showing like a large settlement of, like I'm showing like a large picture, if I have like a human subject, and you see the human subject, that will give you a scale of how big the place is. So basically, these are the things that I say. There's a personal thing that I use to create my pictures. If you check on my page, you see how do I do this? These are the small key things I use to create the entire picture.
You know what that's telling me? I'm just getting this from what you just said right now. I mean, you have enormous power, or do I say? I mean, information is power. So that said, you have enormous power because you have enormous information. If part of your elements are even human beings as well, that means you can see human behavior from a perspective most people don't. So when something is going on somewhere, you see how humans react to it over time, where they move to, what happens where they move to, how that changes their behavior patterns, so to speak.
Yes.
Even you mentioned animals, you can even map migration behaviors as well of animals. So this species of animals, for example, were here before. Something's happening here right now. What happened to them? Did they stay? Did they move? Did they move somewhere close by? What's happening there now? That's enormous. That sounds like a lot, actually.
Yes. Like I said, it's overwhelming. It's something that I can't really express that feeling. I can't really, because it's overwhelming. I create that for every project. That I do because, like I said, it's elements, it's asymmetry too. I use shapes and patterns. And when I create it for my view, and when I take this thing, it's something that what you see, you now start seeing the emotions I create for my own dashboard. Something I've been doing close to a decade. So that's just to make you understand that it's not something that's happened overnight.
Now, I sense the big, because you're not in the more commonsensical sense of the term, you're not a content creator per se, I think. I mean, in the more commercial sense these days.
Okay.
Content creators are, people, influencers.
I know.
In a general sense, that is. You create content, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, in the more general sense,
yes.
You're not creating some funny skits on YouTube or social media or things. You're not an influencer per se or things like that, So that said, how do you balance your artistry? Because there is a lot of, there's a lot of artisticness to what you do. How do you balance that with the commercial nature of what you do, or the seriousness? There's a lot of seriousness to what you do. How do you balance that? Your creativity, your need to be artistic, and then the commercialness and seriousness of what you do. What's the balance?
Okay, so first things first, I tend to create the value because it's everything is value. You need to always state the value you give. So first things first, for the commercial aspect, I state the values, right, to deliver to these clients. Oh, these are the values. In the value, when I'm done with that value proposition, right, that's when I start looking at the artistic part. And in that value proposition, knowing that these are my deliverables, these are the things I need to do, I realize that I need to show skill, I need to show quality, and a list of other things before I start seeing the artistic part of it, which is the shapes, the patterns, asymmetry, leading lines, rule of thirds, and all that. That's where the art. But before the artistic thing comes up, I need to create the value for this the commercial part in terms of delivering to these clients. Because basically, the other part of what I do is, I'll say, is advocacy, advocating for climate action and showcasing the transformation of most of all this development in the region.
You use a lot of technical terms in describing what you do, which is fantastic. I mean, for a lot of reasons. Number one, it shows that you know what you're talking about. So, are there things you just picked up along the way, or does a person have to engage in formal training to be able to do
Yes,
this?
I went through training. I went through several training. Part of the training I got involved in was stock photography. I got involved with an organization that trained me on how to take pictures for the stock market, because there's a huge market of organizations that buy off this climate pictures, from development to climate action, climate change, and all of that. So basically, I've been exposed to information. I've been exposed to trainings from different organizations, and that's basically what I'm planning to replicate myself to the younger ones coming up.
Speaking of younger ones coming up, what message do you have for those who would want to explore a field like yours?
Explore. Okay. In what sense of doing what I do?
Yes, doing what you do. Yes.
Okay, so first things first is to understand what you want. Understand that if it drives, if it's apart from passion, you need to understand what you want and repeat it as much as you can, and it becomes beyond. It goes beyond you being passionate about that thing, because you now be even better than the skilled person. So once you know what you want, you just go with that, knowing that, okay, this is what I want to be, a drone operator, and I want to capture, or maybe you're a photographer, you want to take pictures of food, you want to document our food delicacy or our food recipes, and that this is what you want to do. You just expose yourself to the global information, because of course we have the internet on our palm. Knowing what I did for myself is I went online to check the best aerial photographer in the world, and I tend to do more than what he does to make me in that global state. So if I'll give any take home to the younger one coming up is, know what you're looking for. Search the best of what you're looking for and see how you can mirror that. And that's
maybe in this case, search what Kalada is doing and then try to do better than what Kalada is doing.
Yeah, that can work.
And that's a wrap on this episode of Canvas and Niger Delta Roundtable. The world from above has been the topic of our discussion. And thanks to my guest, Kalada Briggs, is lead creative perspective. Kalada, thank you so much for the great work you're doing and how interesting and relevant you make it all sound. You've made it all sound in this conversation. Great talking with you.
Pleasure being here too.
I'm Dayo Shakin, and of course, this has been brought to you by Renaissance Africa Energy Company. Keep being the best that you can in whatever area or field, be it area of photography or storytelling or cinematography, and contributing your quota to making the best of our Niger Delta and Nigeria at large. Thank you for watching once again, and bye for now.